my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach. Welcome and welcome back to another edition of This or That, and sometimes the other thing. Well, today we're talking about a yarn winder. Now I have one right here. This is one from Knit Picks. And I like this one because it makes a little bit bigger cakes than some of the other winders. I have another one that makes cakes, but it's a little bit smaller, and this is a manual one. You use this and attach it to the table, and then you can wind them up. I like to go out in my kitchen, take my big container of yarn that needs to be wound, and sit up at my bar on my counter. I can have my coffee there, my big container, and then my container of cakes that I should say yarn, that I'm going to make into cakes, and it makes like a fun afternoon. I find it fun. But a lot of people don't see the need in these. I love mine, and I'll tell you why. Now, this is just one of my containers. This is my cotton container. And you can see by looking at those, some of those are just one color. Some of them are ones that I have different colors wound inside. And so what I do is, if I have a half of cake or skein of yarn, I don't wind all of them. You know that. You can see that from behind me. I have a lot of yarn that is not wound. But what I do is, if I have a half of skein or cake or ball of yarn left, I put them in this container, and then I wind them up into cakes. Sometimes it'll be a nice big cake like this one, because this is a full skein of yarn. I just happen to have two of them, and I don't have the paper for it anymore. So sometimes I will go ahead and wind those up. But for the most part, they're half skeins that are wound up and put together. This one is the cotton one, and I have one that's twice this size of the acrylic. And so I really like my winder. Now, I do, however, still make what I call my crazy yarn balls, where if I want to have 1 or 2, 3, 4 strands of yarn held together, I'll wind those up together, and as I get more yarns, I'll add to that and wind those up. And they're great for scrap-happy projects. And so I do like to do that. So here's the question for you. Do you have a winder? Now, I have used one that was an electronic one, and I didn't like it because when you get a knot or a tangle, it just doesn't work right. And I just didn't care for using it. I like to be in control. And so that's why I like this one. It fits perfect, like I said, out on the bar in my kitchen, my island, and I can sit up on the bar stool with my coffee. I can watch videos from other YouTubers, which I really love, and wind my cakes and store them in my container. Then when I'm looking for yarns, I separate my cottons from my acrylics, and then I also have one on this side under my table. I haven't done it yet, but those are my chunky yarns. And so I separate medium 4 and below in one container, chunky 5 and above in the other container, and then I separate out of that the cotton. So I have 3 different tubs that I try to keep assorted with my leftover yarns into yarn cakes so that I can make lots of scrap happy projects. And sometimes I just use them for whatever I'm doing. You know, if I want to make something small, I know I've got these small amounts of yarn. I don't have to dig through all the balls and the strands that are all stuck around everywhere. I don't really mind pulling out a knot or a tangle every now and then. But to face a big container with a bunch of knots, I do not like that. So the question is, for you, do you have a cake winder? Do you use it? And how do you use it? Cake winders, yes or no? I love mine. I have lots of uses for it. And again, I really like the manual one because, again, I like to be in charge. And another neat thing that you can do with these, like I did with some of these, let me let me just show you a couple that I've got down here. Here's one that has all different kinds of browns and beiges, and I made my own cake yarn with colors that coordinate. All right. I have one that's, oh, this one. This one is some Christmas inside with some white sparkly one. You know, and then even this one down here, it's just all bright colors. I've made my own style yarn cakes. And then I'll use that because that's beautiful. Wouldn't that be a beautiful just washcloth or hot pad? You know, and that makes it nice if you have gifts coming up that you need to make. Maybe a housewarming or a wedding or a birthday, and you're like, oh, I want to make a set. Let's see what I've got. Colors to coordinate. So anyway, you can have fun with it as well. All right, so remember to comment down below because I love to read your comments. I can learn from you, and we can all learn from each other. And also, there are no wrong answers. None. Because we all like different things and different styles and different ways of doing things. All right, and so let's just bottom line the question. Do you have a yarn winder? And do you use it? How do you use it? And if you're looking for one, this one is a Knit Picks. My daughter got it from Amazon. She picked up one, loved it, and got me one. And I really love this one because you can make a little bit bigger cakes with it. The other one I have, once it gets about halfway out and the thing is flat, it starts going underneath. And so you can't make very big cakes with it, which is fine if you have small amounts of yarn. But I just really like this one. Like I said, it's from Knit Picks. Let's see. Yeah, Knit Picks right there. Can't see it because it's just, you know. But anyway, I really like that one. But most of the manual ones are really great to use. And this one stays on the table really well. The other one that I have to kind of hold it because the little toggle screw at the bottom on that one, it loosens up. But I know I could probably replace that little thingy bopper. Anyway, that is our this or that question for today. And I hope you will answer the question with your opinion because, again, I love to read your answers. All right, so that's all I've got for you today. Happy yarn winding and have a happy crochet day. See you next time.